Hi everyone, welcome back to Trees and Turtles. My name's Imogen. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about how to deal with the fear of wasting your 20s. If you're not already subscribed, be sure to do that. Give this video a thumbs up, follow me on Instagram, and let's get started. So this is something that I have encountered a lot, both in myself and other people, and I know I say that a lot at the start of these videos, but that's because I want to make videos on topics that are relevant to you guys and that I also have some knowledge of. Anyway, moving on. So we often think we're wasting our 20s. I often think I'm wasting my 20s, and you know, I'm very aware of the passage of time, and I'm very aware that I just want to make the most out of the time that I have, and at the end of my life I don't want to be looking back and thinking, oh, you know, I wish I had worked harder at this, or I wish I'd taken that risk, or I wish I'd done this, this and this, or whatever. I don't want to be in that position where I have regrets. Now, to an extent, having regrets is kind of unavoidable, but I just want to do my best and try my hardest and be the best person that I can be. And the 20s is kind of a pivotal decade. Now, obviously, if you're watching this and you're like not in your 20s, then you aren't, like, I'm not saying it's too late for you. It's never too late for you. Like, it's never too late. It genuinely is. As long as you're still alive, you can start being productive, you can make changes, and that is amazing. But like, obviously I'm in my 20s, so I kind of like wanted to deal with the stage of life that I'm at right now. And the first thing that I want to talk about is that you need to have a 5-year vision. Again, you can do this at any stage of life, but I'm in my 20s right now, so I'm speaking to that. I'm aware that a lot of you guys are. So yes, have a 5-year vision. What kind of place do you want to be in 5 years? Like, what kind of job do you want to have? Do you want to do some additional like professional training? Do you want to get another degree? Do you want to do something like super hands-on? Do you want to travel? Do you want to be in a relationship? Do you want to be single? All of these things kind of contribute to like making up your life. And speaking of life, where do you want to live? Do you want to live by yourself? Do you want to live with people? Do you want to start a family? Do you want to not start a family? You know, and all of these things that kind of come together to make up the person that you are can also be engineered to make up the person that you want to be. Like, it sounds obvious, but if you don't have a sort of a vision for where you want to be in 5 years, then you kind of aren't really thinking about your future. Like, obviously, you know, you can have like a 1-year plan in advance, but I am a massive advocate for the 5-year plan, because I think when we plan a year in advance, we sometimes think too small. And I've been guilty of that as well. Like, we often underestimate what we can achieve in a given time frame. And thinking in terms of like 5-year plan allows your mind kind of the freedom, like the room to expand and be a little bit ambitious about, you know, 5 years, that's a good chunk of time. I could achieve something pretty big in that time. Like, my first degree, I say that like I have more than one degree. My degree, my bachelor's degree, took 3 years to achieve. So that's a good example of, oh, in 5 years I want to have a bachelor's degree. Okay, so have a 5-year vision, and it can have like multiple components. Like I mentioned, it can have like career, like academic ambitions. It can have like, you know, maybe health and fitness ambitions. Like, I'm a lot healthier than I was 5 years ago, so there's that. Yeah. So have a 5-year vision. The next thing I wanted to talk about, okay, I've kind of already mentioned it, work on your professional development. A really big part of being productive and growing as a person is having some kind of professional or career direction. Have something that you're good at, that, you know, firstly, it pays the bills. Secondly, and so that allows you to be independent, which is all kinds of importance, and I've talked about that in other videos as well. It's important not only for your like personal well-being, but also for your self-esteem, for your own growth, and so on and so forth. So work on your professional development. And it also allows you to give back as well, because, you know, a lot of people are in careers, and you don't necessarily have to be in like a charitable career or like one that, I don't know, like you're an emergency room doctor or something. Like, that's amazing if you are, and my genuinely hats off to you, because that is a difficult job. But even in a sort of like a normal job, like, I don't know, accountancy or something, you're helping people, okay? Like, you're doing their accounts. Like, your expertise is valuable and useful, and your team is lucky to have you, okay? So work on your professional development, because it is really important for your growth all round as a person, as a human being. The next thing I want to talk about is work on your personal and financial independence. Like I mentioned earlier, independence is so important, both for your like mental health, your self-esteem, but also for your productivity, your personal growth, and your long-term like security and stability, okay? If you are working on your personal and financial independence, that is a really solid like foundation that you can set for the rest of your life in your 20s. Like, time is on your side, okay? So time is on your side. And another thing that you can do is work on your personal relationships. So this is something that I've done genuinely a ton of work on recently, like in terms of like dating, in terms of like my friendships, in terms of like my family, like situation dynamic type of thing. And this kind of goes both ways. So it kind of, you can get rid of people who are toxic from your life, and you can also try and welcome people into your life who are good for you, who build you up. And it goes both ways. Like I mentioned, you should also be that good, like encouraging person to other people. So really working on those interpersonal dynamics, whether they're from like a personal or like slightly more professional networking standpoint, is really super valuable in your 20s and helps you build that solid like social foundation to kind of go alongside your like professional and financial independence foundation. Okay? Have fun. Maybe I should have led with this, but we're a productivity channel, but we should also have fun because fun is productive. Okay, I have been in the last couple of years trying to really focus on having more fun, because when I was in my late teens I was extremely laser focused. Now, yeah, I'm still laser focused. Obviously I'm laser focused on goals. I run a productivity channel, duh, but have fun. Because so my therapist said something to me. Okay, I'm going to talk about therapy in a minute, but my therapist said something to me last year which absolutely blew my mind. Probably because I'm not very clever and this hadn't occurred to me. But I'd been like complaining about my life for many years, several months, weeks. I'd been in therapy for like 5 years intermittently, but I'd gone back and it'd been like a month or 6 weeks. And I'd been complaining about my life the entire time. And she sat me down and she was like, stop. And she was like, Imogen, you're 22. I was at the time. You're meant to be having fun. Are you having fun? And that just stopped me like dead in my tracks. Like it stopped me in my tracks because I had kind of this perception of myself as someone who existed to produce things, right? Okay, like I existed to be productive, to achieve a goal, and having fun was like frivolous, like it didn't serve a purpose, and I just saw myself as like functional. I saw myself as existing to achieve. And when she said, are you having fun? Like, you're supposed to be having fun. I was like, well, shit, because I was not. So I've been trying to have a bit more fun, but I'd really sort of like ramped it up. And now I'm really trying to focus on doing things like purely for the enjoyment of them and not necessarily to be productive. Like, obviously, productivity is still a huge, massive proportion of my life. Obviously it is, but I am still like trying to do things more like for the enjoyment of it. Like recently I got a digital camera because I just wanted to take slightly bad quality photos. Now if you're a digital camera person who is offended by that, I am sorry, but I just meant like not phone photos. Like I wanted to be more in the moment and just have fun with it. So I bought that purely for my own enjoyment. So I think that's kind of a mindset shift that I've undertaken. Have fun, okay? Your 20s are a decade when you have so many possibilities, okay? And having fun is productive because it contributes to your mental well-being. So if you need to tell yourself that it is productive in order to have fun, there you go. On that next point, therapy, okay? I mentioned this before, I mentioned this in loads of videos, but genuinely, if you had seen me before I went to therapy, you would be horrified, okay? Now, I know I am still a bit of a strange individual, but I am so much more normal now than I used to be, and I credit therapy with a lot of that. Like, therapy is genuinely a big part of the reason I'm still here, okay? So, therapy. Now, I understand a lot of people are like, oh, you know, I tried that, it didn't work out for me, whatever. But there are lots of different types of therapy, and I urge you to at least give it like a proper go. And I don't mean like one session, okay? Because some things in therapy for me only clicked after months, and some things like last year when I went back to therapy, I mentioned it had been 5 years since I first went to therapy. Oh my God, guys, seriously, like I had this, just something clicked in my brain after 5 years and my mental health just went like zoom, okay? Like it took off, okay? And I don't know what happened in my brain after 5 years-ish of therapy, but something did, and it just fixed some things in my brain. Some neural pathways just went better. I don't know how to describe it, but like I just try it, okay? And just give it a proper try. I'm not saying you necessarily have to be in therapy for 5 years, okay? But like do more than one session before you say therapy doesn't work for me. Don't be afraid to make big decisions that you believe after research to be correct, okay? Just because you are in your 20s doesn't make your decisions any less valuable than someone who's in their 60s, okay? Just because you don't have as much life experience doesn't mean you can't make good decisions. It doesn't mean that you can't look at all the available information at your disposal. It doesn't mean that you can't seek out, you know, mentorship. It doesn't mean that you are gonna make bad decisions just because you're young, okay? That's bullshit. I'm sorry, it is literally bullshit that someone who is young makes bad decisions because they don't have as much life experience as someone who's older. Bullshit, okay? Make decisions based on the best information available and all the information that you can get your hands on. Don't go overboard with like over-researching it, because I'm an overthinker and I know that a lot of you guys are too, but trust yourself to research and to make good decisions, okay? And yes, obviously, hindsight, in like your 30s, you'll be like, okay, I could have made a better decision if I'd had that experience, but you don't have it now, okay? So be gentle with yourself and make the best decisions that you can under the circumstances, okay? Don't be afraid to make big decisions that you believe after research to be correct. I'll give you an example, actually. I was at Durham in my final year, and I also worked a fully remote job, full-time, alongside my degree for the first 6 months of final year, okay? And that was at the same time as full-time study. And I was also writing my thesis, and I was also running this channel. And I had a lot of people in my life at the time who said, you are batshit insane. Like, that's insane. You can't do that. You're going to burn out. You're going to, you know, like collapse or like fail your degree or get fired from your job. Guess what happened? I did not fail my degree. I got a 2-1, which is probably what I was going to get anyway. I did not get fired from my job. It was a 6-month contract. I got great feedback throughout. I got paid. And at the end, you know, I got like an added reference, which helped me, you know, in my career. I continued to run this channel and build this community. Everything worked out fine. Okay, so they were wrong. And like, I had people come to me afterwards who'd said that stuff to me and be like, I'm sorry, like I was wrong. Okay, it worked out. So I trusted myself to make that decision. And yeah, it wasn't for everyone, but I knew that it was right for me and it worked out, okay? Don't be afraid to make big decisions that you believe to be correct. Trust your gut feeling. And finally, always have a project to work on. I am a big advocate of always having a project to work on. Now, obviously, like not to the point of burnout, and I mentioned that in a previous video, but always have something to work on, because if you have something to work on, then you are like stimulating your brain, you are making sure that you're working actively on personal growth and development. Always have a project to work on, okay? And if you're doing all of these things, then empirically, like tangibly, you are not wasting your 20s. I know that it feels like it, and I know that it feels like, oh, you know, I'm not getting this done fast enough because, you know, someone else is my age and they've already achieved, you know, this, and this. Look, Billie Eilish is my age. How do you think that makes me feel? I love Billie Eilish, okay? Like, I genuinely love her so much. Like, shout out to Billie Eilish. But she has achieved so much more than I have achieved. And she's my age. And if I let that get to me, then I would just be depressed all the time. I mean, I am depressed all the time because I have depression, but that's unrelated. But like, it doesn't matter what other people are doing. It does not matter, okay? You are fantastic and you are doing great and you are not wasting your 20s. And if you ever feel like you are, I want you to come back to this video and look at this list of things. Like, if you are following this list of things, and you don't even have to follow my advice, like, I just made this video because this is what helps me feel like I'm not wasting my 20s. But genuinely, like, you are not wasting your 20s. A lot of this is just anxiety. Again, I have anxiety. I am like medicated for anxiety. I've been to hospital for anxiety. So I understand the fear of like, I'm wasting my 20s, but you're not, okay? You're not. I swear you are not. You are not wasting your life if you are trying your best. All right, that's all for this video. I hope that it was helpful. If you liked it, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Follow me on Instagram. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I will see you guys in the next video. Obviously, subscribe. I forgot that. Subscribe. Obviously, you know you want to. I will see you guys next time. Okay, bye.